right.
Okay, Mr. Wilcoxon made some substantial changes. He changed his mind. He eliminated 2 of the parcels from the merger, and I eliminated them everywhere except my table
Yep.
still shows those, and I cannot figure out how to get rid of that.
Okay. If we,
Open it up.
yeah, if we double click it or choose it and choose edit, all right, so there's now that. And I think we should be able to just select this and copy. And then if we paste, oops, special. Let's see, I'm gonna paste the link. I don't want to do it over again. Let's see if I just choose this. I'm afraid if I do this, it's going to, yeah, it's going to resize it. All right, so let me think about this a second. If I look at that and choose, it's an Olay object. Width is 505. I don't know. I'm going to try something here. If I set that, no, that's just, it resizes that. Right. Now, what happens if I save? No, I don't want to save as, I just want to save the file. So if I choose this, Well, one thing, if I copy that, I come back over to here. And let's just click over here. Come on. And then paste special. That would be an Excel worksheet. So this is a new paste. And paste the link, and that's going to go there. Now, let's put a little marker here. Let's take this one and delete it. and move this one into place instead. Get rid of my marker. All right, so there we go. And now I get a little bit of border that I need to fix. Here's my holy object. Well, how do I get? Let me get back to this. All right, so if I choose this and set my border to that heavy line is going to be the outline. Let's say okay. Now when I close this, that'll link that back. There we go. There may be a way, Michael, to update the one. I don't know for sure. So sometimes it's easier just to do a new one.
Okay,
All right, so that took care of that.
okay, let's save it, and close that one.
All right. I'll go ahead and let you drive.
Okay, now this is one that we worked on a couple or 3 weeks ago. It started out, it's a boundary line adjustment, two boundaries, one piece coming this way, one piece coming that way. I tried to use the arrows from Wilcoxon, but they're huge on this drawing. Originally, we had it as 1 inch to 50 feet, but I couldn't get it. It wasn't big enough, so I changed it to 1 inch to 30 feet.
Mhm.
But if you look at these, they're still
Yeah, they're not annotative. I see. See, it says annotative and the property says set to no. So,
well, one was in it. Wait a minute, let me exit that and. Yeah,
yes,
okay, this one's annotated,
that
but it's
one is.
annotated at 1 inch to 50.
right, so you could set, so let's select all of those. I mean, you could select all of those, and now what it's gonna do is it's gonna basically scale it by,
Select similar.
yeah. All right, so now you could set the annotation, set it annotative, you could set it all to yes. And then the annotation scale, you want to set to 1 = 30. And you see the, up at the top, it was the very top one, I think. No, go the other way, there you go. If you select that and say, okay,
And escape.
well, no, it hasn't.
Oh, no, he did something weird with this distance too.
Yeah, it's,
Oh, there's something weird everywhere.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to scale it around the insertion point of that. So if we select similar annotative yes, and the paper text height, what did we want it to be? Paper text height is 0.08. All right, so if we select similar. Yes, paper text height is 0.08. And the scale, now here's where I need to why won't it set? Okay, because that's why it was just a list of availables. So I had to change it to, when I did that. When I look at this here and I set this, see it right here, it says list all scales for selected entity, or list scales that are common to all selected entities. So when I choose that, then I added from my list as to 1 = 30. All right, so there's that, and paper text height 0.08. So that's all we need to do with that, except we have to put these things back now to where they go. Now, one of the things I'll show you, if you want to use those other hooks that we had.
Yeah,
So we have the, all we have to do is scale it. So if I look at my blocks, you should, did we,
I don't think it was set as a block.
how did you bring it in? Did you,
I went to Wilcoxon and copied it.
and then did a paste over? Okay.
Yeah.
Wilcoxon's not still up. Let's see, let's go back to this one. And let's take it, whoops. Yeah. All right, so we'll come here, select it. Let's see, where is one? Right here. All right, so that is, see, it's a block reference up here.
Yeah.
So that is a block. It's called merger arrow. And that we actually saved out into your place. Now that one in this file is set of the scale of 0.5. So all we have to do is change the scale to where we get it where we want it to look like.
Okay.
So if we go back to this drawing and we say draw insert, it's going to let us pick from the, this is from a list of all the scales that are defined. Here's a merger arrow.
Okay.
Version on screen, the scale. Let's turn the rotation off and let's specify on the screen. Now that was 0.5. Let's try it at 0.1. So we uncheck that. We're not going to do it on screen. We're going to do it right here. We'll say insert, and it's going to be like that. Okay, so that would be about the size. It looks like it would work for that.
Yeah.
However, it's gray, this is gray. So we want to change now. Is that the only one you got?
Well, there's this one down, this one, there's also a sliver down here that's being merged this way,
Okay,
and it's just so tiny.
yeah,
Well, all those dimensions got messed up. I'm gonna have to redo all those.
well, I think we can help, I can help you get those straightened away here in just a quick second, but. So one of the things I want to do is instead of this being gray, now I'm not changing the one that's on the disk. I'm just going to double click that and choose it here. And instead of this being gray, I'm going to make that white, which will make it show up as black. And so I'll exit, save the changes. So now it's going to look like that. If I want let me try that again here. It's the same color as the outline. I want to keep those slightly different. What's going on? I've lost control of the cursor.
Okay,
You still have it?
yeah. Can you
So-
see the screen?
Yeah,
You can see the cursor?
I see a like a white arrow, but I can't, it won't respond if I click anywhere of these. I'm not getting.
Okay, what do you need for me to do on
Right.
my?
Cancel that for a second. All right, so now I'm still losing. Let me see if I can get it back here. All right, let me stop remote control. Okay, and now I'm going to request remote control.
Okay, the request isn't coming up anywhere that I see. Unless it's, no, it's not there. Oh, I've got a blue circle.
All right, yeah, just give it a sec here. All right.
Okay, I approved it.
There we go. Now I got it. Press escape. And now when I click now, I should be able to. It's just, all right. So I'm now I am there. So if I double click that and choose OK, there we go. So now instead of that being solid black, let's change that to we'll get, say, this color 252. Let's make it 251. Let's see what that's going to look like for us. All right, so if that then gets placed something like there, then yeah, it still shows up. Okay. And that's all I was trying to do is put some contrast on it now. So I've got this block and it now turns, so if I want to come from here into here. So I'll take that delete it. Now we can either put this up here and then rotate it. If I put this, say, right in there, and then I want to rotate that, I'm going to come over here and get my rotation, and I'll pick the insertion point, if I can find it, the insert.
Insertion point stat.
Yeah.
Above.
But right there, thank you. Sorry. So I'll find the insertion point, and now I can do it like this.
Okay.
Okay. And I did notice also on one of your other ones, you had the property line going across it, and that may be fine if we want that to be. So we can choose that block reference, and we can say draw order, and I'm going to say under this line. And now when I move it, even if I'm over part of the line, you see the line will show across it.
Yeah.
Okay? And that may be how you want it to look, or you might want it to be the other way around. Now down here, we're going to do this guy back into there. So we'll do a similar thing, but let's fix these things for the moment. So this is, what layer is that? Oh, it's on boundary, so I can't really choose that. Let me see if I freeze just this point number, just to get it out of the way. There we go. We still got the boundary lines. All right. So our original, where these were, and I'm gonna select, I'm gonna turn that hatch off just temporarily. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna come up here where it says hide by selection,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna pick that so that it doesn't keep tripping me up every time I go to pick something.
What's the difference between hide and freeze?
Well, when you freeze the entire layer. But if you hide, you have to pick the objects you want to hide. So it's like it copies it to a temporary layer and freezes that layer,
Okay.
and then it goes back. All right, so now does this correspond to this?
No, there was a distance there. It's probably that, well, I don't see the distance there anymore.
Okay, there's a 3335. Now that's lined up parallel to that line. Is that, let's see what that distance is. Wait a minute. See the toolbar, let's just get a standard distance from there to there. $33, $35. So that's this right here.
Yeah.
So now, so what it did was when it reset it, it put it back to be parallel to here.
Right.
So if I want to change that now, I'm going to go over here to the rotation and just say E for east. And then I'll pick that guy up and just move him right like so. Sorry, my desk has got a little catch on it that's making the mouse jump. All right, so that takes care of that. Now, where was this acreage mark?
The acreage was just hanging out there because that area is too small for me to put it inside.
Yeah, so you just had it indicated.
Yeah.
I just want to sort of get it. We want to also be able to and leave some room to put that merger hook. Now, this distance looks like this corresponds to that.
Yeah,
And so that's right now in text. And it is set.
and
It's
why does it do that? Jump over to the right like that?
like that,
Yeah.
because this is the editor. So right now, and it's got a different justification on that text. So I can set it here and make it, instead of well, whatever it happens to be, let's make it right justified. And now don't need to be quite so big either. So now I can pull this down. And position it like so. Now, you also see the size of that arrowhead and the size of that arrowhead.
Yes.
So they're different.
Oh, that reminds me, when I create an arrow now, it creates a ball. And I have to, go into the settings to change it to an
Yeah.
arrow.
So what you want to do with that, that's called a leader.
Yeah,
So if we go back to our little dimension styles, that's probably this. What do we call it? Offset dimension. Oh, I want to, oops, sorry. Dimension styles, this one. So if I edit that, now that's an arrow there. All right, so is this override? It's still an arrow. Maybe it's not that one. Is it this one? Handled exception. I don't know about that one. Offsets. That one's okay. Well, they're all arrows in that particular style. All right, so if we do, let me close this. It's a leader. It's an M leader style.
yeah, so if you draw a leader, it comes out as a,
Yeah, so if I choose this, there we go, maybe. Let's modify that. And for the leader format, now see, it still says arrow. Let's just try one. If you have, show me what you do when you create one.
okay, I go to raw leader. Say arrowhead with line. Oh, now it's drawing an arrowhead.
Okay, so I'm guessing you did that in another drawing? Is
No,
where-
it was in this drawing.
Really?
And I'd have to click on it and go to
Yeah, where it says,
arrowhead and change it to solid.
yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to close filled.
Yeah, okay, well,
Well, whatever. It's okay now.
all right. So let's fix these right here to match. If I say match, I want to match this to, I want to match that.
one in paper space and the other in
No, we're both in model space. Let's see what we have here. This is it's annotative. It's using Carlson SW. This one is Carlson SW. It's also annotated, but it has a different scale. So let's select all of these. And let's change that annotation scale. And again, like this, we're going to list the scales common to all. Let's select them all. Oh, I got to get rid of the one that's. I think it's this one. No. Should see, it's not. It's one of these, whichever one where the delete button grays out, that's the. So if I now add 1 inch equals 30, and now I should be able to delete that. There we go. Say okay. So now they all match. And I'm going to also look at this landing size here, which is arrow size 0.08, text offset is 2. I'm trying to get that to go. All right, so. Let's see. Yeah, can't change the gap. That's all right. Maybe this one got edited at some point. Let's see, that's line with arrow, arrow size, text offset, everything's exactly the same, except for this being slightly longer. On typical dimensions, you can change that landing distance. But all right, so now we've got that. And looks like this would be the same deal. We can either, I'm going to keep it up here, but then fix this. If I can manage to select the darn thing. And I'll start it there and then bring this up, hover here, and then go across. As long as, and I don't see. Turn on extensions here for a minute. All right. Now I'm going to come here. Oops, not that one, this one. I'll come there, I'll hover, and then just go out like this. Sorry. Click, hover, come across this way, come down and grab this one again, hover, and come up this way, and it should snap into it's. There it is. I'll just put it. I need to make sure that I've got. Yeah, it kept finding its own endpoint. All right, so there, and we want to bring that to the front. We'll select similar. Draw order to the front. Now, whoa, that changed. Ah, there it is. It's a three-dimensional thing. So if I 3D to 2D, 0, let's see if I can manage to do this. There we go. Now I got that back. Now, one thing too, since you've changed your scale, you might consider changing these points to be, instead of, whatever they were at 50 scale, you can rescale those. So if you select similar, and you can go to, let me see, points. First of all, let me do that and select similar. And then I'm going to run a little quick command on that. I'm just going to say list, hit enter, and then escape. Close that back. And now when I choose resize point attributes, I'm going to say scale. And the scaling multiplier was what needs to be 3/5. I don't know if it lets me do the math on the command line. I don't think so. Let's see, symbols on the screen. P for previous. There we go.
Okay, that one there, I think has the wrong symbol on it, the one where the line is going into the middle. Yeah,
It's either the wrong one or it needs to be brought to the front. There we go.
Okay,
So you can do that with all of the points and select similar. Change the draw order to the front. Okay,
okay,
so far so good. And we can now take this guy and see what we can do with him. We might need to resize. So first we'll copy it down from the, whoops. We'll copy it from its insertion point of this. And we're going to put it on the nearest of, say, this. And let's see if we can't scale both of these. So if we scale that enough, or now it's at 0.1, let's try it at 0.05. And let's do the same thing here with this one. 0.05. May or may not. Because when you see it over here, it's going to be that big. Well, that'll be all right. All right, so let's go back to here for a minute. And we'll need to rotate this guy. Rotate about its insertion point. And we'll turn it to be like so. And that even gives us a nice little marker for our arrow, or I'm sorry, our acreage. All right, so let's now finish these dimensions. We'll double check all of that stuff. It's usually the ones that came about with these leaders, I'm guessing. Now, that's for the point, so that's not it. So this is. You've got, you might snug those up a little bit too, just do a move. Same thing here. Now, the nice thing is, if you ever needed to go back to 50 because they were all annotative, they
Yeah,
had a position when they were at 50, so that part would be restored if you went back to that 50. Now that's slightly off there rotation wise, but not enough to worry about. Now this is the amount that comes over. So, and that worked out nicely. I like that. That you can move. Just get a little closer. Now you could obviously go back and re-annotate and everything would recompute wise. Now this 1891, is that this distance?
yeah, that's that distance.
All right, so I'm going to select it and I'm going to change its rotation here to E. And then I'm going to move it. All right, is there anything else we need to deal with, or is that just it?
I think that's it.
All right. So now we're going to come up here and say show all, because remember we hid the hatch.
Yeah,
So we'll do that. It's now back on. And let's see what we look like over here. Understand why this is slightly amiss. And then the same thing for this. Yeah, like so now. You see these? They are still set annotation scale of 50. I thought we fixed that here, that North 54. That's an annotation scale of 30. Are there two different things? That's on a layer anno boundary. This is on a layer also called anno boundary. What is this? 1 to 30, 1 to 30. Maybe we have to do a regen all. No. All right, well, nonetheless, if we select that and select similar. That's okay. So if I take this. There we go. So now they're all at 1 inch equals 30 feet scaling.
Why did it work in model space but didn't transfer to, paper?
I'm not real sure about that, Mike. It should have, but it's probably related to how, when you're inside a viewport, you can freeze and thaw layers independently of whether they're globally frozen and thawed. I think it may have something to do with that, but
Okay,
I just don't know. All right, so now the only other thing is you might want to, if I select this hatch, I look up here in the property to see it's got color 243.
yeah,
Okay, now, if you right click and choose quick select, and let's choose from the entire drawing the wipeouts, which of course it's going to be called a raster image. All right, so let's not do the raster image. Let's do this. I'm going to select those, pre-select, and then I'm going to quick select. And from the current selection, I'm going to select. Oh, gosh, I didn't. Actually, no, what I'm going to need to do is to double click. Let's see, that is a block called SPTW4. This one is SPTW or SPT4W, not W4. All right, so I see they're slightly different sizes. I don't think maybe intentional, but so if I want to edit that block, if I edit and I find that
I never knew there was a difference.
SPT4W, so that's just going to select that block and let me. Oh, where's the wipeout? There's two, and if I choose the wipeout, there we go. So now the color, and you can make it match that grayscale. And so when I do that, and then when I should have been, those things should have changed. Why did they not? Let's edit SPT4W. Is there anything other? That should be it. And choose the wipeout. That's its color. Brightness, contrast. See, it is an image. Show image, show clipped. Transparency, no. The wipeout itself. I don't think
And what is it that you're trying to do?
I'm trying to get those points to, instead of having white circles, they're gonna, well, of course, the problem is too, where they stick over into the white part over the, off the edge of the hatching, they would be gray over there too. So maybe best just to leave them white. And that'll help. That'll help focus people's attention on them anyway. So that should work. You could also take that line. See, it repeats the pattern like every inch or so. You could change that if you wanted to straighten that out, or if it's fine like that, I would leave it. I wouldn't get too jiggy with it. Maybe do, just clean up a little positioning here.
I've got to do that and go through and label my corners and stuff too, but.
So I'll leave that up. I'll go ahead and fix this guy, but I'm not going to spend any more too much time here. So yeah, reposition as you need, but I think that'll do. Looks clear enough. You'd have to see how it plays out. Are these texts?
Are they what?
Those are that's in paper space. This one is also in paper space. So, okay, you can resize those if you needed to. I think they look fine. Okay, so that fixed that, but did you have something on the inset map?
No.
Oh, okay.
I had something on the inset map in Wilcoxon, but I figured out how to do it.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought that was what we were still looking at. So you got that figured out, and that takes care of that. All right. Anything else you can think of?
I think that's it, sir. I think you've straightened me out.
Well, I don't know. That's probably a lifetime's effort, brother, but we do what we can. So, okay. Well, if that, I will bid you adieu and send you the video.
Very good. Thank you very much.
You are most welcome. Have a good evening.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.